Thanks for being here today with us. This beginning of the afternoon, we will be talking AI and cybersecurity. I'm pretty sure that we've all heard about AI lastly. And as a security analyst and also in charge of compliance, I'm pretty sure that in your organizations on a daily basis, you are answering questions on AI. What kind of governance do you need to face the different threats of AI? What are the threats first, but how will it evolve through AI development, how to take into account AI in a cybersecurity strategy? These are the questions we'll be tackling today during this session. I'm Thiébaut, so I work for the CISO at Google Cloud. I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I will be doing a presentation today with David. He is our CTO for South Europe. Now, we'll be explaining our vision today, what threats we've observed, how they evolved through AI, and also the other side of the equation, how we can help analyst teams, defense systems through AI. And finally, we will tackle the new legal frameworks, security frameworks to better deal with these technologies. Thank you, Thiébaut, and good afternoon to you all. First of all, I will start on the positive side of AI, because it seems that when we talk about AI and when we are working in cybersecurity, we are always mentioning the negative aspects of AI, what it can bring to the table for attackers. So at Google, we also work hand in hand with our clients on the positive side of AI. What can AI bring in terms of defense for SOCs and so on? We think that through AI, you can gain major advantages, and you have really to use AI, be able to handle it, manage it, and take it as an advantage for your company. Now, I will be mentioning some use cases that we've observed on the ground, advantages for the technical teams in terms of cyber defense. And then, of course, I will mention the possibilities of use for attackers. And finally, Thiébaut will discuss the possible support we can provide in terms of AI, good practices, and so on. Now, as regards defense, as I was saying, I think that we should see AI as a possible tool, a positive thing. We already have use cases that we've implemented at Google, and we were able to see that it was something positive in our daily lives. So you can see on the screen an example that we've published on our blogs with our consulting teams. So they have to investigate, to do digital investigations all around the globe. And as of today, we've been implementing more and more use cases on how to better analyze scripts. And we can use AI to make it faster. We are convinced, and this is an example, you might not be able to read it on the screen. I'm sorry about that, but this allows you to better interpret the scripts. You can use Gen AI in order to do a faster investigation. This saves time, of course. We have consultants here that had to lead an investigation, and we were able to find PowerShell scripts with different coding. And the Gen AI system allowed us to decode these scripts very quickly, at scale, and repetitively. So this is one use case that is very interesting in terms of AI use. Now, the second use case, and I think this is something that has been developed quite extensively through industry and technologies, it is the help and the support to developing code. we know that developing still requires the human approach in the designing phase. However, some of the most cumbersome aspects could be automatized through AI, generative AI. And this is an example of Yara and Yara-L, so malicious code detection systems that were generated through a large model we used for this aspect. And these use cases now, these applications are used during investigation phases, but are also used in our technology services in order to support our clients with the help of Gen AI. Another example that might lead me back to my background. We're talking about cyber intelligence here. A lot of content, open source or non-open source, are available. So the question is now for the industry on how to aggregate or fuse the information depending on the different system being used. And we've developed a set of skills in terms of using language to better ask questions, obtain data, and gather data through these languages model. And we think it's very useful. It has been implemented in many of our technology platforms, such as cybersecurity intelligence platforms. And so we do use Gen AI also for the aspect of interactions with the system. So in summary, I would say that there are three axes for Gen AI uses. First of all, summarizing, so the possibility to aggregate information and to make it available to the audience. So Stratintel can be also used for other applications in the SOC, in a CERT. So these are use cases that are very relevant. Now, we are also supporting people in terms of investigation, how Gen AI can support your decision-making or the decisions you will make in order to orientate your investigation to save time, of course. And I'm pretty sure that you've already read these reports. You know that the time you spend on the network, the time spent by the attacker on the network, we know that we want to reduce this time as much as possible, and Gen AI can help us to do so. So we want to automate a set of actions, a lot of actions that happen in between the detection and the final actions. Many things that you are doing, playbooks or decision-making sheets. Well, we think that Gen AI can, for this, really bring something to the table. Now, this is the beginning of this talk, and would say that there are many positive aspects, and we should cooperate to better use Gen AI in terms of technology platforms or united users or applications rather. And I think that this will help the cyber defense side of things. However, reality on the ground might be a bit different. Attackers can also are now trying to better understand how they can use AI in this general exception to improve their capacities and target more victims. So on the different applications we've been observing lately, let's just still be quite cautious. The use of AI by true, but for the moment, we haven't seen many applications. We can still deal with these attacks. We can just see that there's an increase in the speed that the attackers are learning new skills. And I will give you a few examples of open source attacks, not only on our Google source security, but also open source in the media or others. First use case of a malicious use or ill-intended use of AI. And this is what really appeared at first. It's everything that is to do with social engineering, so using conversational language to improve their phishing campaigns, creating emails, content in different languages with a good text, a good document that really brings the emotional aspect and targets better the victim. You can find on dark web right now some actors, some stakeholders that do already sell services that are able to automatize the generation of such emails, phishing emails.
Un autre cas que vous avez sûrement vu passer dans la presse, donc j'ai pris la copie.
You might have heard of this special case. This is not enough for TF1, but of course we've heard about deep fakes. You might have seen that. So it was the question of, and I will just explain the story quite quickly. Someone received an invitation on a Friday evening for a professional meeting. And malevolent actors used deepfake to make believe to someone that they were discussing with their boss. And so this is really social engineering that led to a wire transfer of 24 million euros. This is one of the use cases that can happen with a deepfake. This has an impact that is increasing, and of course, when we're talking about the financial aspect, we're talking about 24 million euros. So for cyber criminals, it is quite significant. Now, I was also mentioning the possibility for cyber defenders to use AI to better implement their solutions or development of solutions. Well, it is the same for cyber attackers. So we are now observing the emergence of automated system to improve malevolent codes, or also to sell AI generation system for codes. So it gives more speed to cyber attackers. They can bypass the more normal systems of protection. We can see it on our basis, on our total virus basis. We can see that the detection is still quite high. So it is not as positive as we may think for cyber attackers. We are not sure that it's really a pro and that they really gain something by using these AI tools. Now, last application. We often hear about it. You might have seen something on this topic. It was published. We had a report on this topic for the war in Israel and other information that were shared on the APT 29, so the Russian group that targeted political figures in Germany. So influence campaigns used through AI. So a lot was published on this topic. And we can see now that AI can be used to influence through images, videos, text. And this is something that is growing, really. So there is a lot of work to do for the legal framework, of course, but also for the education aspect. We have to raise awareness of the industry and the general public about the information you receive. So this is one of the worst case scenarios for AI use. So this was my introduction, and I would like to emphasize the fact that, to me, AI is still positive. It will help us in many applications. We will be better at handling the different cases. Let's not hide the fact that cyber attackers can also use AI. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to better understand cyber attackers. That's why we use cyber intelligence. We want to better understand the methods they are using to provide for it. Now, we also need a legal framework, standards in terms of AI. In terms of how it is implemented, how it is developed within companies. And I think that a lot of work has been done at Google on these topics, and Thiébaut will be presenting these aspects. So indeed, AI techs are nothing new, but it has been booming lately with generative AI. And policymakers have started to tackle this issue. We've been mentioning AI Act. So at the European level, this is our first legal framework for the development and use of AI systems. The AI Act was a long story, a trilogue between European Commission, Parliament and Council. It took a long time and it was very difficult to achieve something. But since February, an agreement has been reached, and AI Act was enacted on the 13th of December, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot in this AI Act. A main item, it is based on risks. So the systems are considered as no risk or low risk. So there's no compulsory methods or very high level implementations. Then you have higher risk systems such as chatbots, text generation systems, video generation systems. And for this level, the requirements are a bit stricter, and transparency, for example, of these models. Then you have risk AI. So this is another level, everything that is linked with security, safety systems such as transport, energy safe security, or medical devices. So for all these aspects, the requirements will be stringent. And now the last level is simply the level where AI is banned. For example, biometric facial recognition, it is banned. Social scoring, it is banned. So subliminal systems, it will not be a thing. So AI has been banned for all these aspects I've just mentioned. And then this is something that has been discussed a lot on general models. So now the requirements in the text are to understand if the model will be a system model or not. And how do you assess that? You assess that by the computing power of the system. So there's a threshold that has been set to categorize these models in two categories, and for systems models, the requirements will be higher. Now, when you talk about legal framework, of course, the question is always, how will this framework, how do we do for this framework not to make this framework still flexible and for this to allow for innovation. And the answer of the member states was this one. They will be able to create legal sandboxes. In these sandboxes, innovation will be possible in terms of AI, and they won't face too many constraints. And for example, they've created an AI office at the European level. The objective of such office will be the implementation of this legal framework. Now, this AI Act is based on risk, as I said, and we are quite used to do risk analysis in cyber security. This is something that we've been doing for years, quantifying risks, trying to find counter measures, mitigation measures, also analyzing residual risks. So this is really the same method that will be applied. Now, beyond the regulatory framework, because we've been mentioning this AI Act at the European level, executive order is also being discussed in the United States, and other countries will implement the regulation. But if you go beyond the regulatory framework, we will have to also question, as security professionals, the possibility to integrate these applications, the AI applications, in a security governance system that is comprehensive and holistic. So at Google, we've published a security framework, our SAIF, Secure Artificial Intelligence Framework. So it helps the different organizations in the governance efforts in terms of AI. We are not the only one to tackle this issue, of course. The NIST, the Standardization Office of the United States, is also working on this question. The OWASP, they have mentioned the LLM top 10. They've done the same for web apps security, and they've done the same for LLM top 10. We also have MITRE Atlas, so in Atlas that is trying to categorize the threats in terms of artificial intelligence systems. And in the middle, you have all the public authorities, organizations that have to create security units that will try to test the systems, if they are robust or not, if they can resist attacks such as AI cyber attacks, rather. So we were wondering at Google if we needed a special team for that. And we decided to do so because there's a set of skills that is necessary. Of course, you need the more common skills, pen testing skills, but you should also be able to understand how these models function, these AI applications function, in order to really be relevant in your work. And you should be able to find the threats that are specific to AI generative models. I know we've mentioned that a lot, for example, data contamination for training data, but also testing data, account ejections, data that is being stolen, and other threats that are really related and specific to AI. Now, a set of publications that might be interesting in this matter. We are not the only ones to work on this. You can find the information on our website. So, for example, the SAIF, the security framework, how to implement it at your organizational level. We've mentioned this morning too, how to create by design AI applications. So this is something that we are also studying. This is an ongoing work, of course. We will have to go further on this aspect, how to certify some aspects of AI, have transparent models. We could have model mapping, for example. But yes, indeed, we will have to keep working on this aspect of of AI, and also how our internal teams can help support in terms of security these different models.
Tu veux que je conclue? Allez, pour conclure.
Allow me to conclude, maybe. Since we do not have much time, well, I would say that Thiébaut and myself and the rest of the team is at the F5 stand. So if you have any questions for us, do not hesitate. Anyway, we wanted to give you these takeaways. First of all, this is great news. Even if we might hear the contrary, this is great news. We also are able to cooperate with our colleagues, customers on mapping, on a regulatory framework. We've been publishing a lot about this. Do not hesitate to read what has been published. And of course, we are here to share information. So it would be a pleasure to discuss this topic with you. Anyway, we would like to thank you for your time, for your attention, and we will now give the stage to